Judge who blocked travel ban just realized he made huge mistake. Look what just happened to him. Judge Derek Watson is riding a blazing trail of reality and crashes into a wall of threatening messages coming from concerned Americans. Judge Watson struck down President Trump's travel executive orders that protects Americans from radicalized Islamic terrorists. Judge Derek Watson is probably not a very happy guy right now, as he's possibly living on the edge of his seat as he makes his way to court each day. The threats are so bad that the FBI is involved and deputies may be sent to offer protection. That's funny because President Trump offered protection with his travel restrictions that would protect people from terrorists, but I guess that wasn't important to the Hawaii judge. Is this the part where we mention the judge is friends with Obama? Or do we save that part of the theory for later? The FBI states that they are aware of threats being directed at the Hawaiian U.S. District Judge Derek Watson, the man responsible for deciding against President Trump's travel executive order and potentially placing the entire country in danger. Don't worry though folks, they'll be okay in Hawaii. People don't usually mess with Hawaii. You would need some Somali pirates to paddle a boat filled with Muslims to Hawaii in order for there to be an incident in Hawaii. I'm not sure that Muslims know how to swim. They're good at flying and driving into things, but they don't quite have a navy yet. Honolulu. The FBI says authorities are aware that the federal judge in Hawaii who ruled against President Donald Trump's travel ban has received threatening messages. FBI spokeswoman Michelle Ernst said Thursday the agency is aware of reports of threatening messages against U.S. District Judge Derek Watson and is prepared to help if necessary. While the FBI did not provide details on what states the threats are originating, sources told CBS affiliate KGMB that they are coming from the mainland, or the continental U.S. Former federal agent Tommy Ayu told KGMB that it's not unusual for additional deputies to be brought in to help the local U.S. Marshal's office with protection needs. The U.S. Marshal's Service will do a critical risk assessment, look at the threat, make an analysis, and determine the level of protection needed, he said. Judge Watson made a huge mistake. Not only do we have living proof that the refugee program is a disaster, Sweden/Germany, but we know Muslim terrorists are bred like cattle over in those 6 countries for which travel ban restricts entry and requires extreme vetting. I wonder how long it takes Judge Watson to reverse his decision and think about the country first, other people second. They say that in a married household, the 2 most important people in the home are the parents. If the parents are happy first, then the kids will always be happy as well. Same rule applies for America. If we the people are always happy first, then we can help others better. We come first. Outsiders come second. Keep us happy, then we'll be happy to help others. Judge Watson needs to put his country first. Elementary, my dear Watson. Matthew McConaughey just paid savage price for what he came out and said about Trump. Hollywood's limousine liberals have taken it upon themselves to try and shepherd the hearts and minds of the less important than themselves. They bestow on us their infinite wisdom using whatever platform they possibly can, to try and change the minds of the inconsequential middle class. However, November's presidential election shows the country that we are neither inconsequential or easily swayed by glitz and glamour, trying to masquerade as common sense. We, middle Americans, still have to balance our checkbook every day, and we don't have bodyguards to save us from the Mexican drug cartel that Hollywood thinks should be let to run free in our country. In a recent interview with Channel 5 about his upcoming film Gold, Matthew McConaughey was asked about his thoughts on America today and the current president. Via American News, for quite a lot of this film, I sort of thought this is not Trump's America, but small-time, central, redneck America sticking one up to the snotty East Coast elites, as it were, the interviewer asked McConaughey. Sticking it to the man, for sure, McConaughey responded. I mean, it's an underdog story. This is the guy that nobody bets on. This is like millions of people, if not billions, who get out of bed every day and don't have a ticket to the American dream. That are going to have to hustle their way in the back door, the side door, or come down the chimney, and be an entrepreneur, and make it their own way, by hook or by crook. Every single American actor or artsy type who comes over to London dumps on Trump, he continued. You all completely hate him. Do you think it's time maybe Hollywood and the cultural elite in America gave this guy a break? Well, they don't have a choice now. He's our president. And it's very dynamic and as divisive of an inauguration and time as we've had. At the same time, it's time for us to embrace and shake hands with this fact. And be constructive with him over the next 4 years. McConaughey makes an excellent point. Love him or hate him, this guy is steering the ship for the next 4 years, so let's try and make as much progress as possible during that time. Unfortunately, the ever-tolerant liberal robots in Hollywood want nothing to do with the tall Texan after his common sense comments. I guess getting along is more something they preach than practice. Source: American News. Michelle makes a fool of herself at boozy brunch when shocked people saw what she did. Despite not being the First Lady any longer, Michelle Obama seems to still wants to live like one, but now has the added benefit of not trying to keep up political appearances and also the advantage of a fully paid security team at all times. She hasn't stopped rubbing elbows with Hollywood elites, as was evident at brunch this week along with something else shocked people saw. The former First Lady was known for hosting lavish White House parties and putting rappers and their wives on the guest list, who she was seemingly desperate to be friends with. This socialite mentality appears to have stepped up a notch now that she's not under citizens' constant watch, or so she thought before what was just caught at her boozy brunch that has made many people irate. Page 6 reports that Michelle met up with Hollywood heavyweights, actress Sarah Jessica Parker, reporter Robin Roberts, and Oprah Winfrey's best friend, Gayle King at the swanky Breslin restaurant in New York City for brunch. The women were reportedly surrounded by a tight wall of Secret Service for their entire meal, which included champagne and Bloody Marys. While sipping on adult beverages with your nice meal is really no big deal, it was the excessive security she brought along that was a foolish overuse of taxpayer funds for brunch. It's ironic that the people who are so against the protection of a wall and use of firearms, including Michelle and her liberal lunch friends, required an armed barrier of protection around their booth. Michelle probably feels like she paid her dues for 8 years in the White House, which she used as her cool card to get the in with celebrities around the country. Many people feel like she exploited her role as First Lady for this reason and think that lunch outings like this show it. Breaking massive White House leak was just discovered and look who was the mole. A massive White House leak, and its mole has been discovered and identified. If you thought being a rhino was bad enough, then you ain't seen nothing yet. This rhino has a long-standing grip with President Trump and has been the balding face of the Rhino Party ever since Trump began his campaign to be the leader of the free world. He's such a rhino that they may as well call him a dick, Democrat-in-chief. Looks like the White House has their mole and it's quite obvious who it might be. In fact, he almost resembles a naked mole rat anyway, so this fits very well. We're talking about none other than John McCain. That blubbering Democrat in a Republican suit, shill of a human, scum of the party. Reports suggest that he gained access to items deemed private by President Trump, which may include phone calls with world leaders, and that McCain is spilling the contents among the mainstream media so they can sabotage his success as president as early as possible. Even Maxine Waters runs her mouth about getting ready for the impeachment, but the truth is, neither of these traitorous buffoons has anything good to say. This could be the beginning of the end for embattled Senator John McCain's life in politics. According to White House officials, McCain is believed to have somehow gained access to the content of President Donald Trump's private, classified telephone calls with world leaders. And he isn't keeping quiet about what was talked about either. An analysis of McCain's recent public statements by White House officials, coupled with information from intelligence personnel working with the Trump administration, paints a disturbing picture for McCain, or any elected U.S. politician. Officials believe the senator has inside knowledge of a number of President Trump's telephone conversations, including at least one conversation with Russian President Vladimir Putin. White House aides are confident they have now outed one of the major leaks plaguing the early days of the Trump presidency. McCain has been lambasting Trump to anyone and everyone who will listen since the newly minted president's inauguration. This includes a Russian comedian who pranked McCain posing as Ukraine Prime Minister Volodymyr Groysman. Even during that troubling conversation, where McCain shared sensitive U.S. intelligence with an imposter, White House aides said McCain unknowingly exposed himself as having inside knowledge of Trump's telephone conversations. He has been given transcripts or actually listened to the calls and is sharing what he has heard, an administration insider said. There is no doubt. He is one of the major leaks. Things are so bad with McCain that he was prank called and reportedly thought he was talking to the Ukrainian Prime Minister. During that alleged phone call, he reportedly gave information suggesting that he had information about Trump's phone calls. To think this is a man who might have even an ounce of relevancy or be in any position of decision making is bad. We can't have someone take incoming calls from a random number and share potentially damaging information. There has to be a line drawn in the sand and McCain needs to be on the other side of it. He's a rhino and a dick who's addicted to badgering President Trump that he's going to end his career having accomplished nothing. If he focused on positive politics, making a difference, and doing something great for America, then he would be a good guy. But McCain would rather be that pest on the side of your leg taking a bite. No one likes the pest of the party. When you're a politician, then you're best remembered for the good that you do. What good is McCain doing? He has a second career that he could do great things with, so why is he wasting his time being the annoying politician who spends his days trolling the president? Why not be helpful instead? Put the grudges away and make America great again. If not, then prepare to be on the losing end of a battle. You see how bad the Democrats look, right? That's what John McCain will look like very soon if he keeps his circus sideshow antics as part of his daily routine. Make America great, not annoying. CNN just screwed themselves with what was seen at bottom of live interview they didn't know was there. CNN has come under a lot of deserved scrutiny after devolving from a once reputable and credible news source, to the laughingstock of mainstream news. The left-leaning outlet just made matters far worse for themselves that should seal the deal on their declining ratings with what was caught at the bottom of their live broadcast by shocked viewers who couldn't believe what they were seeing. During what was said to be a live interview with California Democrat U.S. Representative Jackie Speier from Capitol Hill, the Outfront show host made a huge mistake that happened to be caught on air. She said the broadcast was coming to viewers live, which nobody would have questioned until one viewer went to change the channel and saw something at the bottom of the screen that caught him off guard. Switching from CNN to the other liberally biased news network, MSNBC, the viewer saw that Speier was also live on their show, complete with the live red tab at the bottom of the screen that CNN had. She was in the same location that the CNN host said she was and in the same clothing, but since one person can't be live on two networks at once, speaking to different hosts, people quickly caught on to the latest liberal news lie. Both biased news stations are repellent to the truth. They just couldn't air an interview without losing credibility by alleging that it was live, let alone any other fake news the network was pushing in the commentary. While they have been able to pull the wool over people's eyes for years, discerning viewers wanting the truth are wise to their disguise now thanks to President Trump leading the charge against this type of media. CNN could really change their acronym to mean Comedy News Network, especially now after people got a good laugh at their live interview Fox was. It's an insult to citizens' intelligence to think they call pull these kinds of tricks and dishonesty and nobody will be able to tell, then hiding their own fake news by trying to point the finger at conservative outlets who are willing to tell the truth. It's the dawn of a new news era now that we have a bold leader willing to call them out on their BS and people are waking up to the false reality that the mainstream media is pushing. H/T, Gateway